Today, we are going to talk about a fantasy action film called Clash of the Titans. Be ready because spoilers are ahead. A long time ago, powerful beings known as Titans ruled the universe. However, their reign was ended by their own children. These children created a massive creature called the Kraken to defeat them. After their victory, they began calling themselves gods. Their leader, Zeus, became the ruler of the heavens. But through trickery, his brother Hades was forced to live and suffer in the underworld. As time passed, Zeus created humans in his own image. The purpose was for humans to worship the gods, giving them strength and immortality. But over time, humans became restless and started to doubt their creators. Eventually, they began to rise against the gods. Far out in the ocean, a fisherman finds a coffin floating on the water. He brings it onto his boat and discovers the body of a woman inside. Alongside her is a newborn baby who is still alive. The man decides to raise the child as his own son. Years later, the boy grows into a young man named Perseus. He becomes a fisherman, just like his father. One day, they travel toward the city of Argos. There, they see a massive statue of Zeus standing proudly over the ocean, but something feels wrong. An army of soldiers is destroying the statue from its base. Soon, the giant structure collapses from the cliff into the sea. Huge waves crash through the water as the soldiers celebrate. Suddenly, the sky turns dark with heavy clouds. Strange flying creatures emerge from the ocean. They rush toward the humans who dared to insult the gods. The soldiers try to fight back, but they are no match for these deadly creatures. One by one, they are defeated. The creatures begin to merge together as they collide. Eventually, they transform into Hades himself. Hades notices the fisherman's boat. He attacks it without hesitation. The boat is destroyed and sinks into the ocean. Perseus manages to escape the attack, but his family is trapped inside the sinking boat. He swims desperately to save them. Despite his efforts, he cannot rescue anyone. He watches helplessly as his family drowns. With no other choice, Perseus swims back to the surface. He clings to the broken remains of the boat. Overwhelmed with grief, he cries for his lost family. At the same time, Zeus becomes aware of humanity's rebellion. He is furious at humans for turning against him. Hades arrives on Mount Olympus. He convinces Zeus to take revenge on humanity. He suggests punishing the people of Argos. Apollo warns against this decision. He reminds them that they need human worship to survive. But Zeus agrees with Hades. He believes that humans need fear to remember the power of the gods. On the other side, Perseus is rescued from the ocean by the soldiers of Argos. He is quickly taken into the city. The soldiers arrive at the palace with Perseus. They inform King Cepheus that their mission against the gods was successful, despite heavy losses. The people celebrate and cheer for their king. Cepheus declares that a new era has begun, where gods will no longer control human destiny. However, his daughter Andromeda warns them about their arrogance. She believes there will be serious consequences for angering the gods. Her mother dismisses her concerns. She proudly claims that they themselves have become gods. Suddenly, the lights in the palace begin to fade. A dark cloud of black smoke forms in the center of the room. The mysterious force starts pulling soldiers toward it. One by one, the men are lifted into the air and consumed. Perseus somehow manages to stay on the ground. He resists the force while others are helpless. The dark cloud then reveals its true form. It is Hades himself. Hades becomes curious about Perseus. He is surprised that Perseus can resist his power. He then turns his attention to the queen. Moving swiftly, he drains her life force. Within seconds, she turns into a lifeless body. Hades then delivers a terrifying warning. He declares that in 10 days during a solar eclipse, he will unleash the Kraken upon the city. The only way to stop it is to sacrifice Princess Andromeda. This is the punishment for defying the gods. Before leaving, Hades reveals a shocking truth. He tells everyone that Perseus is the son of Zeus. He also claims that Perseus is the reason behind the coming destruction. The soldiers immediately capture Perseus. Their leader Draco begins to torture him. He demands answers about how to stop the disaster. But Perseus knows nothing. Soon after, a mysterious woman named Io visits him. She seems to know everything about his past. Io confirms that Perseus is a demigod. She explains that before Perseus was born, King Acrisius tried to rebel against the gods. He led an attack against Mount Olympus. Instead of destroying him immediately, Zeus chose a different punishment. He transformed himself into Acrisius. In this form, Zeus approached the queen. When the real king returned, it was already too late. Furious, Acrisius ordered the execution of his wife and the newborn child. Before he could throw the coffin away, Zeus struck him with lightning. This transformed the king into a monstrous creature, cursed to suffer forever. Io tells Perseus that his demigod powers make him the only one capable of defeating the Kraken. If the creature is destroyed, Hades will also weaken, since the Kraken is tied to his power. Realizing this is his only chance for revenge, Perseus makes a decision. He chooses to join Draco and his soldiers. They plan to seek out the Stygian witches, who possess knowledge of all things, so they can find a way to kill the Kraken. On the other side, Hades visits Acrisius, who is now an outcast living in the city's sewers. He tells Acrisius that Zeus's son has survived all these years. Hades offers him a chance for vengeance. He breathes corruption into Acrisius, granting him enormous power. He promises to destroy Zeus if Acrisius kills his son. Meanwhile, Perseus arrives in a forest with the soldiers. He notices a glowing aura calling to him. It turns out Zeus has gifted him a magical weapon made from the heavens. Perseus is amazed by the sword's power, but he refuses it. He blames the gods for the death of his family. Soon, Perseus sees an extraordinary sight, numerous horses with wings. Before he can admire them, a giant black-winged horse lands behind him. The creature spreads its massive wings, causing Perseus to fall in fear. Io appears behind him and explains the horse's name, Pegasus. She tells him it is sent by the gods to help destroy the Kraken. Their conversation is interrupted by a terrifying scream nearby. Perseus runs toward the soldiers and sees Acrisius has killed 2 of them with ease. The monster attacks Perseus, chasing him down a hill. It leaps into the air and crashes down with immense power, narrowly missing him. Perseus tries to fight back with his sword, but Acrisius is too strong. The monster bites Perseus in the arm, causing him to scream in agony. Luckily, Perseus breaks free as the other soldiers charge in. However, they are quickly defeated by Acrisius's overwhelming strength. Acrisius grabs Perseus by the head. Draco intervenes and chops off the monster's hand, saving him. Realizing the creature is hurt, Perseus chases after it with the soldiers. They don't notice that the severed hand is quickly transforming into a terrifying scorpion. The soldiers follow the monster into the ruins. They decide to split up to catch it. One team manages to ambush Acrisius, knocking him down, but the ground begins to shake and claws emerge from the sand. Acrisius escapes once again. Giant scorpions rise from beneath the ground. The soldiers are forced to fight for their lives as the monsters strike furiously. The warriors are quickly overwhelmed by the creatures. They are pierced by the scorpions' tails and sent flying across the field. While the monster is distracted, Draco seizes the chance. He jumps onto the giant scorpion and stabs its back using both of his blades. One of his men throws a spear to Draco. He uses it to stab through the scorpion's body, finally killing one of the vicious creatures. At the same time, Perseus attacks the giant monster furiously, but he is struck by its claws and knocked to the ground. The scorpion grabs Perseus and smashes him into a pillar. It attempts to kill him with its venomous tail. Io intervenes just before the final strike. She cuts off the creature's tail, saving Perseus. The scorpion quickly charges at Io. She is forced to hide inside a structure as the monster attacks viciously. Perseus rushes to save her at the last moment. Together, they run desperately as the scorpion pursues them. Realizing there is nowhere to run, Perseus throws Io to safety. He prepares to face the creature alone. The giant scorpion lunges at him with full force. It crashes into the structures and lands on the ground below. The people watch in shock, believing the demigod has been devoured. However, Perseus breaks free from the scorpion's stomach and kills the monster. Before they can celebrate, more soldiers run toward them. Additional scorpions appear from behind the hills surrounding the group. Just as the monsters are about to attack, they suddenly freeze. Chanting can be heard from a distance. Draco recognizes the mysterious figures as jinns. They are old enemies from battles fought many years ago. Perseus believes they are allies. The jinns are responsible for stopping the monsters. The jinns quickly take control of the giant creatures. They essentially tame the monsters and use them as transportation. Though hesitant at first, the soldiers decide to trust the jinns. This is the only way to reach their destination before the eclipse. Using the scorpions, the party travels across the lands with ease. They finally arrive at the Garden of Stygia, home of the dangerous witches. The group climbs the mountain as night falls. They carefully reach the peak and move toward the center. Soon, 3 hideous, eyeless creatures appear before them. The witches know exactly what the warriors are seeking. The monsters demand payment for their knowledge. They begin attacking the soldiers. Perseus steals the creature's single eye. He threatens to destroy it unless the witches reveal how to kill the Kraken. With no choice, the witches give their answer. Only Medusa can slay the giant beast as her gaze turns flesh into stone. Satisfied with the answer, Perseus throws the eye onto the ground. He plans to leave, but the witches warn him maniacally that he will die on this journey, no matter how much he tries. After hearing the unpleasant prophecy, many people abandon the mission. Only the soldiers and the leader of the Jinn remain. The Jinn desires vengeance on the gods for banishing his people to the deserts. While descending from the mountains, Perseus encounters a mysterious man approaching from behind. He soon realizes the figure is Zeus himself. Zeus tells Perseus that he will not defeat the Kraken, nor take vengeance on Hades. The witch's prophecy confirms this. Zeus offers protection to his son. He wants Perseus to live among the other gods in heaven. Perseus immediately refuses. He chooses to live and die as a man. Not wanting to see his son fail, Zeus gives him a golden coin. The coin will allow safe passage to Medusa's lair, which requires payment. After traveling across the lands, the group reaches a giant chasm in the earth. A ghostly river, covered in fog, appears before them. Perseus takes out the gold coin given by his father. The Jinn throws it into the water water while chanting a spell, bribing the ferryman to take them into the underworld. Soon, countless dead souls rise from the water. They pull a giant boat toward the group. A sinister demon welcomes them aboard. They travel across the haunted river filled with molten rocks from the Earth's core. Eventually, they reach a clearing, signaling their destination. The soldiers move forward across a rocky field. They arrive at the entrance to Medusa's lair. Only men are allowed to enter, so Io waits behind for their return. The warriors enter the cave covered in lava. Countless statues of men are frozen in place, victims of Medusa's power. They hear a woman's maniacal laughter from afar. They realize the monster is nearby. Suddenly, multiple arrows are fired at the soldiers. Some fall into the lava pits below. Perseus desperately holds on while saving the djinn. Draco tells the warriors to chase Medusa quickly to flank her. Perseus throws the djinn onto the surface to save him. He saves himself as well. The two soldiers try to avoid the demon's gaze while hunting her. Many are turned into statues quickly, falling to the ground and breaking into pieces. Perseus runs desperately alongside the djinn. He hides from the demon while trying to avoid her arrows. They carefully move to stay out of her sight as she hunts for her prey. He tells his companion to wait while he lures the monster out. Perseus charges quickly into the openings, causing Medusa to chase him while trying to tear him to pieces. He continues to dodge the demon's attacks. Draco watches from afar, waiting for the perfect moment to ambush her. Perseus eventually lures Medusa back toward the djinn. He slashes at her head but misses. The creature captures him with her tail. Medusa attempts to turn the djinn to stone. Surprisingly, she fails because he has no flesh on his body. The djinn laughs at Medusa. He decides to blow himself up, causing a massive explosion that knocks both the monster and Perseus away. Before Medusa can recover, Draco appears above. He jumps onto a giant rock on the ceiling, breaking it and dropping it on the monster's tail. The creature is trapped on the ground. The demon looks back in anger. She turns Draco into a statue, giving Perseus a chance to aim for her head using the shield's reflections. Medusa lunges forward. Perseus leaps toward her, slashing furiously at her neck while keeping his eyes closed. He successfully cuts through her, causing her head to fall to the ground. Perseus survives as the only warrior carrying Medusa's head. However, he sees Io stabbed in the back by Acrisius. She's thrown against the walls like a rag doll. Furious, Perseus charges at Acrisius to avenge Io. He is overpowered and knocked to the ground. Perseus fights back, stabbing Acrisius in the leg. Still, he is no match for the monster's strength and is punched away. Seeing his friend on the ground, Perseus decides to use the weapon of the gods. He leaps into the air and strikes Acrisius. The battle turns in his favor as he forces the monster backward. Acrisius is overwhelmed. Perseus stabs him in the stomach. The monster transforms back into a human and falls into the abyss. Perseus rushes to Io to save her. She tells him to stop the Kraken instead and save the people of Argos before the eclipse. Io assures him that everything will be alright. Her body turns to dust as she vanishes. Before Perseus can mourn, he notices Pegasus flying toward him. The magical horse offers him a way back to Argos before the city is destroyed. As the eclipse approaches, the seafloor opens. Giant tentacles rise from the water, rushing toward the city and creating massive waves. The people realize the Kraken is coming. They tie Princess Andromeda to the platform, offering her as a sacrifice so everyone else can be spared. Giant tentacles erupt from the ocean. They smash into the city with enormous force, destroying everything in their path. The people run for their lives. At the same time, the palace in Olympus shakes violently. Hades reveals to Zeus that he has tricked the gods to make himself stronger. Since the Kraken is made from Hades' body, the destruction it causes increases his power while weakening everyone else. Meanwhile, Perseus flies closer to the Kraken, planning to slay the beast. Hades notices the demigod and attacks, transforming into numerous demons. The creatures steal Medusa's head. Perseus chases them closely, eventually arriving in the city where the giant tentacles are killing innocent people. He manages to shake off the demons by knocking them down. Perseus desperately tries to recover Medusa's head. Soon, the Kraken emerges from the ocean. Its massive body towers over the city as it roars furiously. Princess Andromeda cries helplessly at the sight of the monstrosity. Perseus continues to pursue the flying demon. He forces it into the air while barely escaping an attack from the Kraken. The warrior jumps from his flying horse. He grabs the creature, crashing both of them into buildings behind the princess. The Kraken lunges at Andromeda, planning to devour her in a single bite. Perseus grabs Medusa's head and runs toward the monster. He unleashes her gaze on the Kraken. The massive creature slowly turns to stone, screaming in agony. Its frozen body crushes buildings, killing those below. Andromeda falls into the ocean, landing safely in the water. The Kraken crumbles into pieces at the same time. Hades appears before Perseus, seeking vengeance for his monster. The demigod summons lightning from the sky. He hurls it at Hades, creating a powerful shockwave that sends the deity back to the underworld. Perseus jumps into the water. He swims to Andromeda and grabs her hand, saving her from drowning. Both make it safely onto the beach. Andromeda offers to make Perseus her husband for saving her life. He refuses, having no desire to become a king. After returning the princess to the people of Argos, Zeus visits Perseus again. The deity rewards his son by reviving Io, allowing Perseus to live the rest of his life with the woman he loves. So, what do you think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.